Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather, and one thing I've always wanted to create was a junk journal. So I was watching a lot of videos over the last little while on how to create one, and I was trying to figure out how to make the cover the easiest way for somebody like me who's never made a junk journal. So a couple months back, I'll do this without knocking my camera over, my husband bought me a new laptop, and so this is the packaging that the laptop came in. So it's quite a good size. And I was looking at this, it's already got like both these sides, so I can actually get two journals out of this. One will be a little skinnier, one will be a little bit wider, but I can always cut them down. I know there's chunks cut out because, you know, laptop, so there's little spots that are cut out. So I think I'm going to start with the smaller side. So what I did is, I'm just gonna move my camera down. So what I did is I just found like where it would just go like that. It kind of looks like a binder. So I'm just going to grab a Sharpie here. I'm just gonna get this pretty even. Oops, gotta keep this one out of my way. Just gonna draw a line. Just gonna trace that. So that is where I'm gonna trim off. Now I had done this with the pencil and realizing that this one side of this has this pretty big square right here cut out. And I was trying to figure, well, what can I do with that? I actually decided I'm going to make this my front cover and use this window as a really cool little pocket. Because I had initially just didn't even pay attention. I just initially had drawn the line with the pencil. And then I opened it up and I realized that if I cut right along there, I'm not going to have enough room to have this little window, and I'd have to reinforce it. So by moving the line just a little bit out, I can save that. And I won't have as much reinforcement to do. So I'm just going to take my little X-Acto knife here. Let's see if I can get this to score. If not, we'll get the scissors. Right on that line. Just do it a couple times. I think once more and I should be through. I have never made a junk journal. It looked interesting. I guess I gotta do one more, but because I've gone it in a few times, I can see exactly where I need to cut. There. So now I got this little binder looking thing. I will say, I do know that because of the way I've cut it, that when it lines up at the back, my front cover right now is a little bit wider than the back cover, but that will be fixed easily like, as you fill it up with the pages and stuff. It will be, I think that's perfect. And then I said I'll cut this one and I will have a second one, so I'm going to do that now too, because I do need this extra piece of cardboard here to reinforce any of the pieces of cardboard that are missing. Like this has got this big chunk here missing. And this one here will have two chunks missing. So I just figure if I just get this started. Out of that one piece, and now I've got the start of two junk journals. Now, of course, I got them upside down backwards. I got to figure out which side I want the front, which one I want the back. So this longer one here, just these two spots here. So like I said, I'll just take this bit of this cardboard, it's the same thickness, and I can just easily fill that in with this. So this one, it doesn't matter which is the front, which is the back, but again, when I do pull this, there is this overhang of the one side will be a bit bigger than the other, and I will even that out when I go to do this one. But this is the one I want to start with. And again, I said right now I do know that the front will have this overhang only because I wanted to keep this so I don't have to reinforce this as much. As you can see where the line would have been, so then I would be cutting like almost this completely off. Then I wasn't quite sure what to do with this circle part. I think I'm going to leave that as is. I'm not going to do anything because it's right where it folds. I might do something, and this piece here had flipped out. I just pushed it back in. So I just have this one little square. But I'm just going to set that aside because for this I decided to help cover these. I'll just, for this one too, just cut a piece of this, and I'll just be putting a piece of the duct tape over top just to kind of hide it and conceal it until I'm ready to cover it. This one I might do the same thing, just put a piece of cardboard in here, and then with the duct tape over top, you know, kind of score the thing, but I may not. I may just put a piece of duct tape over that just for now. I don't know. Figure that one out. But it's this. This I for sure want this to be the front, so I'm going to start with this. Now, the different things that I've got to decorate my journals with is little calendars. So I got this one here is my sloth yoga. I got the sloth doing all this type of yoga. I also have my other calendar that I recently took down, my Audrey Hepburn, and the back page also has a sample of all the pictures. So actually I do want to use the small pictures of the Audrey Hepburn to decorate the front cover of this larger one. I've got different packaging material. I've got this thinner cardboard and this shiny paper. This piece of cardboard and this shiny paper were actually part of the same packaging. They're actually from the Goldfish crackers. So if you take the main Goldfish cracker packaging off, you'll get down to this layer. You take this off and you got this, but the inside, I love it. It's so shiny and it looks really like metal. I actually have a few sheets of this, and I'm saving it for another craft that I want to do. But this would be perfect, you know, like part of the thing making junk drills is you're trying to use scraps that instead of throwing in the garbage. So I think I've got a lot of these sheets. My Day Home kids love Goldfish crackers. So I've got lots of those sheets. Then of course I've got this packaging, these big boxes here. If anybody remembers, that would be my Christmas gift from my husband. Now, so I made this up. I said this one had still covered in all that sticky and glue stuff everywhere. I said this one here, not too bad that when I opened it I cracked this one, but I have this, and I said I didn't know what I was gonna do with this flower. I love that it's textured but it's see-through, and I think it will fit perfectly in this square here. So that is what I'm going to do. So maybe this broken piece, because I don't need a big piece. Let's see, because I mostly just want to get this plastic here to kind of close the, you know, cover up the window part. So I will cut this down and figure out which of these flowers will fit the best, because it's not a big opening. But if I can use this broken one, because I can't use a lot of it, but if I can use this broken one, then I have this bigger one I can save for another project. And then I've got all this other packaging here. I bought myself some new hairbrushes. It was at Dollarama, and they range between $4 and $5 a brush. So each brush came, and this was the inside packaging of them. So they look like really nice gold. Got a whole bunch of these, and then of course the outside of the packaging of the brush had this plastic. So it was this and this. So it was a nice packaging. So I do like this thicker plastic. So I'm going to be using, like I said, so if this plastic here is too thin, I've got this thicker plastic. Let's see, I don't know if any of this is big enough though. Let's see, this one here. Not quite, because then I would have a bend in it. So I'm trying to find a piece so I wouldn't get that big of a bend. So I'll just set these aside. So this is the thing is, you just find pieces of stuff that you've got laying around to do this. So I'm just going to start by cutting. I don't know if these scissors are going to work. I'll just use these ones. I'm just going to start by cutting this plastic out. The city has decided that today they're going to scrape the intersection. I think it says touch. Oh, this is the one. This is the packaging that the slippers came in, because it's saying touch. You feel how soft they were? And it's the smallest box. So this would be the one that the slippers had come in. So I'm going to start with this one here. This is the this is interesting. This one here. That would be neat to add somewhere because it'd be unexpected in the middle of one of these journals. It says touch the plush. And it's got it in English and French. So that'd be interesting to put a piece of soft material. Now, not in this type of book, but this would be the type of thing if I was making one of those little busy books for little kids. I'm going to save this as an idea for making little cloth busy books. Okay, so I've got this piece cut out, and I said this is the one that got cracked. Let's see how much of this can I use and save. Let's see if I take this piece that's completely broke off. That will actually work. There, if I use the piece that was cracked, I'll get that at the front, and it totally covers enough of the back that it will be secured on. Now I'm just going to straighten this out. It's not perfectly square. That's okay. It's a little bit straighter than it was. Make sure I didn't cut too much off, that I can still there. I said I don't have any other glue at the moment, so I'm just going to stick this down with a little bit of hot glue for now. I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just going to do a little spot at each corner. Just enough so it will hold it down right where I want it to be. And now, because I did that, it's not lined up right. Try that again. Just didn't quite have it lined up. A little bit of glue there. A little bit of glue over here. just to hold it down in place for right now. So front so far will look like this. And then I will be putting a piece of something here to cover this. So then I will give this a nice background. That didn't quite hold it. That's okay. It's hold it enough in place so I know right where it's going to go. So I'm just going to figure out what I want to put behind here so you can see. Like I said, I like the idea of being able to see through the window, so that's not the problem. But the thing is just you don't want to see all this extra plastic here. And then, you know, I may have to take it off because I'm trying to figure out what to do about the border around. You can see it's a corrugated cardboard. So I think I'm going to do fabric. So I will be back when I'm ready for the next step while I figure out. I'm just going to be cutting out a piece of cardboard for here, and I'll be using some duct tape to tape these in place. And I'm going to grab my material that I want to cover this in. So I'll be back when I'm ready for the next step. Okay, so I can't find the material I wanted to cover this in. So I'm going to set this one aside and go back to this one. I had a couple techniques I wanted to try, and one was using tissue paper to look like faux leather. So I'm going to do that, but first I'm just going to repair these missing pieces here. So I just took that piece of cardboard, traced it out. I just got to make sure I'm getting the right ones lined up. Goes there. One. That one goes there, so this one's to that one. So I've got my 3 pieces here, so I had to fix these 3 spots. So now I'm just going to use some duct tape just to help hold these in place. Now, I don't know if the duct tape is going to mess up the journal or not, like making it easier or harder to do anything. So I'm just going to put one piece there. Oops. I don't think I can really wreck the journal. No, it's a junk journal. And then I said for the edges right now, I'm not going to worry about the corrugated cardboard showing at the moment. Right now, I just want to fix these spots here, and I'm going to work on the outside of this. Now, like I said, I don't know if this duct tape is going to make it harder for the tissue paper to get glued on. So for this back part, I am actually going to for the back part, I'm not going to do the same technique as the front for right now, just because I don't know how this duct tape is going to affect being able to hold the Mod Podge and tissue paper. So it's going to be interesting to see. This is just going to be a work in progress and see how this works. And if it doesn't work, well then I'll change my plans. But I want to keep these folds where I can see them. So I still want to try to make this look like faux leather. So I've got tissue paper and Mod Podge and a paintbrush. So first I'm going to do is just take one sheet of my tissue paper here. I'm using this orangey color. Only half a sheet. Done stuff. Oh, this was then I did that tissue burning for Halloween or fall. One sheet. I'm going to sprinkle it up with because I've been watching a lot of junk journaling and I just can't think of the names of everyone I was watching, but a whole bunch of different techniques, and I just want to try them all. And I just tore the tissue paper, so I don't know if that's gonna be a problem or not. There it goes. As I tore it, I'm just going to tear it more, just rip it in half where I had ripped it. Like I said, the city decided today they're gonna be scraping the road right outside my house. Let's do this. So I do want to make one piece. I think that's gonna work. Just want to make sure that I can do that. Now I do know, I see where the duct tape is. You're gonna see these little things, but I'm not worried, because as with this type of stuff, you're layering and stuff. So I didn't really want the back to really be like a full leather, but I thought it'd be good to do like a full leather to start with, and then you embellish it and stuff over top. So I've got my pieces all wrinkled. Now I'm just gonna grab my Mod Podge here. I'm just going to put a lot down. And I will spread it out more as I need to. But I just want to get a good coating where I know I need it to stick. I'll put more over top of the duct tape. Like I said, I don't know how this duct tape is going to affect it. I mean, I even thought of covering the whole thing in duct tape, but in case it doesn't stick to the duct tape, I thought that would just be a waste. So I'm just gonna test it. And I gotta get some more brushes, because I realized that a lot of my brushes, I was making stuff with Mod Podge and I didn't rinse my brushes as good as I thought I did, and I went to go grab some today and they are all just stiff. So that's my next thing. I gotta, next time I run to the dollar store, I have to grab a pack of brushes. I like this size for doing Mod Podge, because when I'm Mod Podging, I'm usually using such a bigger surface. So I need more this size. It's like a 1-inch paintbrush. And I actually find the actual like real paintbrushes actually work better than some of the craft brushes when using Mod Podge. And I really want to make sure I get good in the corners and the edges. I think this will be good now. Good coating. I just want to get this spot here. I didn't quite get to the edge all the way here. Just making sure I get to all the edges. I always find it tricky when you're doing the last edge and you've got Mod Podge on every spot and you can't really grasp anything. Okay, so now put the tissue paper down. Oops. Make sure I get it pulled right to the edge. I'm going to smooth it out, but I do want all those little wrinkles and creases, because the more little, oops, I just ripped the tissue paper there. I'll just get a little more gentle doing this side. I'll just put another little piece of tissue paper over top. pull too tight. And I just wrapped this underneath. I don't know if I can get my camera to go down any further. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge right over top of these little spots where I kind of tore it. And I'm just going to take another little piece of tissue paper and just kind of repair those spots. Put a little glue over top of those spots. I did the same right here. I just tore it. Just trying to straighten that out. Okay, I'm not going to touch that. So that is what I've got. I want to fold this to make sure that I can still fold it. So I'm going to let it dry like this. I have to say, I'm not sure which way I like the front or the back. So I said that was going to be my front. But these chunks here, with where the tape was, they give an interesting design. But I'm going to flip this inside. And I'm going to bring this tissue paper, wrap it inside around if I can. May not be able to. Let's see. Can't seem to snip wet tissue paper. Or else my scissors just don't want to cut this, but that's okay. I'll just tear it. I'm just going to put some Mod Podge on the inside and just fold this down inside a bit. And this will finish up around the outside of this book nicely. I know I don't need a lot of glue for holding down the tissue paper. Because I will be covering the inside of this with some of my scrapbook paper, but this will give me a nice, more of a nice cleaner finish. If I would have thought about that, I would have made sure I had more on both these sides here. So fold this in so I get a nice tucked corner. So a little bit of glue just to help hold all this big pile of tissue paper down. Like that. So now it is actually wrapped all the way around. That looks so much better. this side might be a little trickier because I don't have as much tissue paper. Just as long as I get enough coming around. So I said, I just wasn't quite sure how I was gonna finish this. Come around to hide the corrugated cardboard, but that is gonna work. It's just going to around this one edge here. It's just going to work, but that's okay because I can always do something around the edges to give more something. Okay. Use the paintbrush to pull this around. So my fingers, I'm tearing it. The first spot I started on, I've already dried, or I just didn't have enough glue, not quite sure. Make this corner look a little bit better. There. Is that thing is stuck there? Okay. I am just going to grab my hair dryer. I don't actually have a heat gun. I mean, I'd like to get one. I'm just going to go grab my hair dryer and dry this. And I will be back when this is all dry and I'm ready to paint this. Because I'm going to paint this light brown just to get some contrast here. So I'll be back when the Mod Podge is dried. Alright, so I put another layer of Mod Podge on the whole outside of it and blow dried it. And it's starting to look really good. Now these little spots here look like the leather has been repaired. And same with this. It looks like I had to reinforce parts of this. So I might, use this to my advantage to make it look like it's been repaired. Then I'm looking in the inside. I'm going to use some scrapbook paper for the inside here, but I got to do this spot here. So for this one here, I'm going to grab another piece of the tissue paper. Just had it. I guess I'll grab. Oh, there it is. So, grab another piece of this just to do the inside here. And when I was blow drying, my the duct tape was coming up, so I had to put a little bit more duct tape up across here. But just to get this leather bound look inside the book as well, like up at the top, because I got to figure out how I'm going to be attaching my signature. I haven't quite gotten that far yet, but I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put down a good amount of this glue. Now I should have done this before I folded these other ends over, so I'm not putting this all the way to the ends. I don't really need it to fold over. I'm just going to go to here and just down to about here. I'm just going to snip this off. Stuck down. I'm just going to trim off because I don't need this amount of overhang either. I'm just going to glue this down in place. Like I said, I should have done this before I folded those other sides over, but I wasn't thinking that far. I've never done this before. So like I said, I don't want the new pieces to go right to this edge because I want to keep them nice and clean for where the first fold was at the tops and bottom. I'm just going to put some glue there. Just kind of hide it a bit so it looks like it's just the leather itself. Like that. Just going to glue. Gotta get some more glue to get this stuck down. And if it wants, this piece wants to just rip off, I'll just take it off. Don't really need it. I'm just going to grab the blow dryer again and just dry this. And then when I come back, I'm going to be painting this now. Make sure that it all looks good. Just want to make sure that the top and bottom looks good. And I just want to make sure that this can still fold. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab the blow dryer and blow dry this, and then I'll be back when I'm ready to paint. Okay, so it's now dry completely. I can still bend because I keep doing this, making sure that I can still bend this. Now, as to add my signatures, I'm going to punch holes in here. I just don't have the right tool at the moment, so I'm just going to leave that for now. But for now, I'm going to paint. So I'm going to start with the inside because I don't have to paint a lot on the inside. And then I can flip it over and really paint a good amount on the front cover. Now for in here, for the covering these sides, I went through my scrapbook paper and I've got this whole stack of this. I'm not sure if it's navy blue or black, but this material, it feels like a really soft blue jean material. And I've got the fibers in here, so it's really soft paper. And I've got a couple different designs here, ones I think I'd like to use. Like there's this one with the little spots, like the little dots, and then I've got flowers that are in gold and green. Maybe I'll put my pad upside down. So I got this one here. It's kind of like, looks like it's embossed with little dots. And then this one here, it's got the stars, but they've been pressed inside. So I guess this would be embossed. This one is that bedazzled because it's kind of got that gem kind of a texture to it. I got one here, it's got like these other florals. It's just a big assortment of, it's the same ones, but they're just not in any particular order. And I've got some going one direction, some go in a different direction. But I think for this, I'm going to use this one here. It's got all these little colors in here with flowers, and it's gonna fit. I'll have to trim it down to size, but so I will have to use 2 sheets. I was trying to see if there's any way if I fold this in half, if I can just do half a sheet, but it won't work. So I'm gonna have to use 2 sheets to do this, which is okay because I'll still have some left over for I can use inside for some pages on the inside. So I'm gonna start painting this. So I've got my little paint palette here, and I'm going to do a combination of, I've got some white, black, a brown, and this like skin color, taupey color. I don't know. These are from these are from Dollarama, or no, Dollar Tree, and they're by Prang. Oh, this is peach. Okay, because it says it's called peach, but it doesn't look like peaches. It looks like more like a light skin tone. This one is, I'm trying to read the color. Where did I find the color? Oh, this one is, it's not quite brown. It's got another color. It says Morrow. So maybe it is brown. I don't know. I can only read the Spanish. It looks like it says Morrow. So I do believe it is brown. And then, of course, black and white. So I'm going to start, because I want to make this look like leather. So I'm going to start with the brown just to see kind of what color or what shade this brown is. This is not my best, oh, it looks like milk chocolate. It's not my best mixing tray. I've got a better one. I just couldn't find it, so I grabbed this one instead. So I don't really like it. It's too light. So I'm going to add a little bit of the black. So I'm just going to start with the brown and the black. I'm just going to grab a thinner paintbrush to stir these together. And that's very dark. I'm going to add some of this peach. I don't think I want to add the white because the white's going to make this go gray. I'm hoping a little bit of this will make it go a little bit lighter brown. It did go gray. I think I had too much black. Okay, I will add more brown. These are just these cheap paints. I believe these were from Dollar Tree. They could have been from Dollarama. I'm not quite sure. There, that's the color I wanted. Like a really dark brown. That's the color I wanted. Okay, now I'm just going to grab a larger brush just so this goes faster. And I'm just going to paint over top of this. Thing is I don't need to completely coat this really good. This is just the first base coat. So I don't want to do a too thick of a coat. I just want to do some basic color on here. So I know it's going to take several coats. So I don't know how many coats this is going to take, but that's all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this until it's no longer orange, which is probably going to take about 2 or 3 coats. So instead of you watching me paint like this, I will be back when I get it all done. Just because this type of paint, I don't even know if this is acrylic. What is it? Ready to use? Oh, it's tempera. So it's tempera paint. So it's even thinner than the acrylic, but this is all I have today. So this is what I'm going to use. I mean, I do have my new paints, but they're small tubes, and it was going to take so much of those small tubes to get this done. So I decided to use just some of this other cheaper paint, but I will be back when I get this completely painted and there's no orange. I have now done 2 coats of the paint on the outside. When I went to do, I used the paintbrush for the first coat, let that dry, and then I went to do the paintbrush with the second coat, and it was just lifting all the paint up right down to the tissue paper. So I got a kitchen sponge and cut it, and it was so much better doing the sponge. I should have done the sponge first time, but I kind of forgot. And so this is what I've got. I wasn't too worried about the inside here because most of this is going to be covered up with the scrapbook paper. But what I also noticed is this is definitely the wrong kind of paint, this tempera paint, because you barely touch it. Even this dried stuff, I'm barely touching it, and I'm able to wipe a lot of it away right to the orange. And this is a mix. My second one I did half black, half brown, and it still doesn't give me that dark color that I was looking for. So I'm just going to set these used paintbrushes aside because they are just in my way. So now I'm just going to do straight black. I'm just going to see what happens if I just do straight black. Oops, probably a little more than I need. That's okay. And I'm just going to dab on straight black. So I really want that faux leather look. lightly dab it on. Some more paint on here, just dabbing it on in odd little sections because I've got this nice brown underneath, but it's still, I just really want the dark brown leather is really what I was going for. But with these paints, I don't think I'm going to get the dark brown, so I'm just going to make it a black leather. That's looking really good now. Oops, there goes my little sponge. See, now it's really looking like the leather. Just wish I would have had some better paint today to do that. But that's okay. It's one of the things with crafting is you use what you have, and sometimes, you know, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this anyways. I've never tried to create faux leather out of paper or anything, and I've never done a junk journal either. So this would be, you know, just learning how to do new crafting techniques and figure out, well, what kind of supplies do you really need, what works best. Sometimes even if you've made the crafts before, like it's been a long time since I've done certain paper crafts, that you forget techniques that you remembered the last time you had done it. And then you're halfway through and like, oh wait, yeah, the sponging technique, forgot about that. Like this one doing this. But no, I'm really liking the black now. And it's starting to lighten up in places, and then you get that other light brown underneath. So we'll see what this looks like as it dries. So I'm not gonna blow dry this coat. I'm gonna let this third coat here just air dry by it and see what I get. See if that makes a difference. But I'm watching how it's drying over in this corner. It's like, that's kind of more the color I was looking for, although it's a little lighter than I wanted. So I'll probably just go back over that with some more black over here. I'm just gonna let this dry and then see what happens. It's just, see, with more black paint, less black paint. I do have a little bit of the brown and black still mixed in there, so I might go over with some. I do need more black paint. I'll wave that off. Now I do know, because this is tempera paint, it is washable, and I've got it all over myself. I've got it all over my shirt because I stood up and leaned over to grate something in front of me, and I got paint all over the front of my shirt, which is something I haven't done for a long time. Okay. And I'm also saying the way that this is gone is because when I painted, I got these brush strokes, and I made sure all my brush strokes all went one direction. And then the thing with the tape, I wasn't sure what the duct tape was gonna do, but it's kind of blended in already, and it's hard to see it, and now it just looks like other chunks of like the leather from underneath. Right down here, so this is where one piece was, and the other piece is down there, and it's not even noticeable now. Oops. But I will say, if you touch this paint and you peel it all off, you go straight to the back to the orange so fast. So I'm just going to finish up with this black, and then I'm going to put another layer of Mod Podge over before I do one more coat, just because I think the Mod Podge is going to help seal this tempera paint. Because every time I touch something with my fingernails or anything and it scrapes, it takes all the paint off, and you just see this bright orange through again. So, just got a couple little spots over here. I'm now finished that. So I'm just going to make sure that it can still close. That was the one thing I want to make sure, is that my seams are still going to close. And you can see right down the side, right where it cracked, it's bright orange again. don't know how noticeable it is on the camera, but for me, I can definitely see bright orange. But I'm not worried because I'm going to, and again, I touched it there. And this is just really annoying. I think it's because I'm using this tempera paint and not like acrylic paint. So if this doesn't work, then I'm going to just have to run to the store and get some paint today. Or I might just, my other thing is, I have some spray paint in the garage. I might just run up to the garage and just give it a coat of spray paint and just leave it and say I'm done. But we'll see what happens when this one dries. So I'll be back when this coat dries and when I've decided what I'm going to do. All right, so it is dry. That is what it looks like. I'm not happy with it. I've decided, I think I'm just gonna go to the garage and give it a good spritz of black spray paint, just a thin coat of black spray paint on both sides, in and out. I'll be back when I've done that, just because I don't feel like using any more paint or more Mod Podge. I'm just gonna spray paint it. We'll be back and see what that does. Okay, I really liked the way this looked. I'll show in 1 second, but it's just this Rust-Oleum Quick Color in black. This I pick up from Walmart for under $7. I don't know, sometimes it's $4 something a can, sometimes it's $6 something a can, it just depends. But so under $7, and I can get black, white, and red. If I want any other color, I have to go something that costs more, but this is what I usually use for when I'm doing just a general basic black. So here is the inside. As soon as I sprayed the inside first. As soon as the spray paint hit this chunk here, it was like, wow, that is what the look I was going for. I can still see some of the orange is still peeking through, but that's okay because this is going to be covered up with the paper. But it's the front. There we go. It is done. That is the, I'm trying to remember, it's just the front. Okay, this is the back cover. This is the front. I like the detail now. Still a little tacky in little places, but that's okay. I'm just gonna go to the next step, which is really easy. I'm just gonna lay this down here. I'm just gonna make sure I'm centered now. So I'm going to be using this all-purpose clear glue. I buy this stuff from Walmart. I think it's about $5 or $7 a bottle as well. I'm just gonna make sure it's not plugged because sometimes my glue is plugged and I haven't used it for a while. Yeah, my lid is plugged, so I'll get that unplugged and then I'll be right back. All right, I now got my glue ready to use. And I'm going to take this paper. Now I'm going to cut these down to size, but I just got to quickly measure. I'll find my ruler first. I don't know where my rulers are. This is hard to use, but okay. I'm just going to use this paper. I'm just going to measure the paper. So here, I'm just going to use this little Sharpie just. Gave myself a couple little marks. So I just find my scissors, which I know I've already had, and they're sitting across from me. Just gotta find my marks again. So black Sharpie on. Like I said, this paper here is so pretty. I'll do something with using it inside. Let's see, this is about the right size that I need. about the right size. So I'll cut that down just a little. So I got to trim this down just a little bit, but I'm gonna just move this out of the way. I'm gonna make sure these are both the same size. Yeah, both the same size. I'm gonna set this aside. I'm gonna grab a second sheet of this and just kind of do the same thing. Just kind of line it up. Oops, I cut crooked. So find the sides that I hadn't cut. Because I will have to trim this down just a little bit more just so it fits in. So you can see some of the leather around the outside. Maybe, maybe not. I'll just see what this looks like when I attach this. So I cut that so I get 2 strips. Okay. Make sure these are a little bit more even. Actually, one is, well, they're both kind of cut, kind of crooked, but that's okay. I'm just going to take this. I had my X-Acto knife here earlier today. Oh, here it is. Just going to take this. I'm just going to even this edge up just a little bit. Scissors and just kind of cut along that little line I had scored. I have my paper trimmers. I just don't know where they are, and I always find that the paper trimmers don't work very good on this paper for me. I don't know why. Just something about the paper that's got fibers in it and little detail stuff. Just I can never seem to get it to cut in my paper trimmer as evenly. It kind of goes a little funny on me, so probably the same reason why I have trouble cutting this straight with the scissors too. It just, these little fibers just get in your way and they don't want the scissors to go straight. They get caught in the scissors. It's a little straighter. Oops. Let's go this side. Just, so all these little fibers, they stick out and then they just hard to trim. Same with this one. I'm just gonna quickly. This one I actually cut a little straighter than that other one. Yeah, this one is, unless that one's straight because it's not a side I cut. Yeah, I just gotta trim a little bit here. Oops. Even using X-Acto knife, the paper tears. A lot straighter. Those all seem straighter. So now I'm just going to bring this back. Just going to put some glue. I'm just going to grab this paintbrush here. I'm just going to spread it out. This is the paintbrush that had Mod Podge, which I guess I haven't had a chance to go rinse it out yet because I was busy trying to get this done. So I will have to go and rinse out all these brushes now. So if I just spread this glue out, then it's not so lumpy looking, and I can get my paper lay a little flatter. There. And if I need to add more glue, I can add more glue easily. This one. And just center it as best I can. A little more glue at this corner. Like that. And then I'll do the same for this one. Make sure I get the glue right to the corners this time. I don't know what that is. That's my animals in the hallway. They knocked over something. Now, to get into my craft room, I had to move a bunch of stuff out of my way. So I've got stuff sitting in the hallway that have to get taken downstairs. It's like Christmas decorations. So, sounds like they knocked the box over. Light this up. And because I don't quite have these even, like I can see, like you can't really see much of the black leather against this side, I'm going to actually frame these with something, just a little fringe of something. So I like to do that. Anything extra. Otherwise I'd have to take this paper off and trim that. I might have to, because I think it might stick. This one I do have to trim a little more. It is actually sticking outside of here. Cut it a little crooked now, so I'm definitely going to add something, to a little bit of lace or something around that, because that's really crooked now and that's really going to bother me. But I think that's the back. Yeah, that's the back one. This is the front. So I'm just going to go grab a piece of ribbon just to help hide where the paper is not cut perfect. So I'm just going to go grab a nice piece of decorative ribbon and I'll be right back. Okay, I quickly changed. I got my sweatshirt soaking because I got paint all over the front of it, and I went and found my ribbons. I've got this one here. It's silver. It's kind of like silver. It's got this blue It's kind of like, feels kind of like a burlap and rickrack kind of together. Then I've got this other one here. It is just like a thin burlap. So I want to see which of these would look best in here. Is that one? Or this one? You know, I think they're both a little too thick. They're not quite what I wanted. So I do have the other ribbon. I will go grab the other ribbon, because this is just a little thicker than I thought it would be. This would still work, but I think I want the thinner ribbon. All right, I decided yes. I'm gonna go with this thin. It's a creamy off-white, which I think will give a good contrast to everything. There. I like the way that looks. It's, like I said, it's not busy, it's not heavy. Like, these give some thickness to it. I don't need any more thickness or weight. I just want something to outline the covers. So I've got my glue gun here. It's been on all day. Just looked at the clock. It's almost noon. I've been sitting here doing this since like 8 o'clock this morning. So 4 hours in my craft room already. Just making one little thing. I'm going to start over there. I'm leaving it overlapping, like over the edge, just so I can just doing a little spot of glue there and a little spot there. I'm not gluing it completely down yet. I just want to see how I can get this to wrap around. I know there's a way to do this, and it's just been a while since I've done ribbons like that. Do that quarter or half turn thing, and you get that little. Just want to see if this is how I wanted to finish it. So I just want to I just do one spot of glue just to hold it down and see if that looks right. Oops, pulled too hard. Like that. And do this another half a turn and come to here. Yes, I like that. Like I said, then I'll go back and I'll actually glue this down in place. I just wanted to get the ribbon lined up first so I know how much I need. Okay, right there. Okay, now I'm just going to undo these few pieces. I just wanted to make sure I got the right amount of ribbon. But that's not how I want to glue it down. I just want to... don't like the way it folds underneath like that, but I just want to make sure I got the right amount of ribbon. Stuff stuck here. Okay, so I'm going to start at this corner. That way I can end at this corner. Another glue stick in here. Get any glue on here. little glue in this corner and do that little turn. And same thing, I can do this little quarter turn here. Or half a turn or whatever it is. It's this little turn. Sometimes I can do it good, sometimes I can't. Put a little glue in this corner here. So we'll hold it in place and then put glue all the way along this edge. Too much glue on my fingers. Do this little turn here again and then come straight down, and somehow I'm short ribbon. Okay. Well, I'm just going to trim it here then. Well, I've got those three. That's the three sides that I wanted done anyways. So there. And now I'm just going to continue doing these three, and I'll be back when I get the outside cover the same as the inside cover, or the front. I mean the back cover the same as the front cover on the inside. So I've got all encircled with the ribbon. I can't think of the words. So I've got, well, this is my front cover. Open it up. That's the inside, and there's the back cover. And I said you can't even tell where the duct tape was, where I had to repair it with the extra pieces of cardboard. It kind of just blends in. It looks like, I mean, in some places you can see it, but it looks like maybe over time, you know, you've repaired leather patches and stuff. So it's not quite as a faux leather as I was going for, but as my first time of making these, I definitely say tempera paint does not work. I'm sure if I had the proper acrylic paint, it would work. Now, I really liked in here this this spine on the inside. Once the spray paint hit it, I've got paint on my table. I just put my ermine paint. Okay, but once the spray paint hit this, it went shiny and I could see all the little crackles. Just too bad that the way that the spray paint dries so heavy and down, so you lost a lot of that, and it's the shiny black paint. So it's not quite the exact leather look I was going for, but I think it's good for my first attempt of making this. I can't believe it's taking me about almost 4.5 hours to make this. Something I thought would, oh, I could get this done in half an hour. No. I think if I was using a better product, like, I do like the idea of using the tissue paper to make it look like faux fur, or faux leather. It does give that effect. Except I think I'll try it with white, not orange, but this was the only color I have available at the moment. I had red and green and white out earlier when I was wrapping Christmas presents, but I think I've used them all up. So, and then even this, I've got a few spots here. I'm going to have to glue the ribbon down because it's not holding in all the little spots. But that is my first attempt at a junk journal cover out of cardboard. Considering I've never made one of these before, I'm actually pleased with the way it looks. I can't wait till I can do something with this. Now that I've learned a few things of what to do and not to do with this one, I can figure this one out. So for this one, I know exactly how to cover it now that I've covered this one. And so I will do this one later tonight. So I got this one done, and then I can guess my next thing I will be making will be the signatures. I'm new to junk journaling, so just learning the words that go with it. So I need a couple tools, like for this one to add this, like I know to do the signature, I think sewing is the best. So I would sew them into here, and it's actually pretty good thick cardboard. So I will have to get some type of like a punching tool. I don't think a regular hole punch would work. I need one of those other big ones I've seen people use. I don't know what they're called. So I will look into getting some of those other tools. If not, I'm pretty sure, I know we've got those chisels in the garage. My husband has a set of chisels. I'm sure I can use a chisel or like a screwdriver and hammer a screwdriver in just to get a few little holes in here if I don't have the right tools. Start with what you have. So again, this is my tutorial on my first time of making a junk journal cover, and I'll have to say it's not real leather. It has the feel of like those soft, like a binder that I've had, like it's a cushiony feel. So, I mean, I've had regular binders covered in fabric, and then they get that feel to it. So it's got like a fabric feel, not so much a leather feel, which is still pretty interesting. Knowing what it is, knowing that it's just cardboard and tissue paper, and it gives that texture of paper, or not paper, of fabric. So, again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's subscribed to my channel, watching my videos, and I will see you all in my next videos. Bye.